us knowing, or we wasn't even at home, but I don't know, we just wanted to let you know, how do we, when we report that there are these steps, um and or will we be able to hold them accountable, or what is it, the next step besides just calling the 911 number and have them take care of it? I mean, then what is it that as a community can do then? Because even my husband is a um, African American. He is jogging down a street within our own neighborhood, and he keeps calling, "Nigger, get away from here! Why are you jogging in our street when we live in the street?" But that sort of.
So excuse me, I'm sorry, I need to interrupt you because I don't know if you noticed we went back to the large
Oh, we
group.
did. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so
So
this
that's
was
what I was wondering too. Okay, all right.
right. So we're back to the large group, everyone. Thank you for sticking with us and being a part of the conversation. We had 3 different groups with moderators. And so we wanted to, I don't know if people had decided who was going to report back, but if there was a volunteer from each of the groups, just to kind of share on some of the general themes and ideas that folks brought up. I can start since I'm unmuted for our group. So I think a lot of the concerns we heard within the group were on the law enforcement level in terms of gun violence. Who is responding to gun violence incidents when folks inquire about an incident that happened? It sounded like there was concern about people not talking to each other or just needing some answers as to what type of investigation or response is happening. We also heard some concerns that people feel like there are a lot of kind of safety matters happening within our neighborhoods near our homes, and police might be responding, but it doesn't seem to be effective. There's continual issues. And then, I was just kind of emphasizing that, we've kind of learned historically that relying on police to solve neighborhood problems is not effective. And there's other avenues that we need to pursue, and we need to, from my perspective, be sensitive or understanding to folks that don't feel that a police car on their streets or calling 911 is helping with their safety. It might be harmful in some ways. And then we were just hearing kind of the end of someone sharing about a number of different neighborhood issues and safety issues that continue to pop up. And it sounds like general concerns as to whether anything is being done or anything can be done for folks to feel safe in general, especially with some of the responses people get personally. In my own experience too, my wife was called racial epithets by someone before. She chose to reach back out to those youth and talk to them and engage with them, and we're friendly with them now. So there's an impact of just having conversations as neighbors and breaking down barriers. So that's what I would report back from our group. Was there a volunteer from another one of the groups that wanted to report back?
Sure, I can go. I think our part of the discussion, first we all introduced ourselves, and then so trend of our, well, first started off with just the car theft situation. Seems like that's a growing pain for everyone. And then a lot of the resources, one of our members had a good question as to what type of resources are being allocated for the community members. And I want to highlight Kristen and Rebecca for sharing some of the resources that really need some really involvement from the community because of the decision makers that are proposing some of the solutions. Sometimes we are not getting maybe as enough traction from the community members to really advocate for the resources. So Rebecca or Kristen, if you want to highlight more on that. I know you guys shared valuable information that I thought was very useful, which I would, I'm going to be reaching out to Rebecca myself to share among my friends and family. So, but those that was the main discussion point with our group within the community to really know and understand what type of resources are available to invest in our community. So.
Awesome. Thanks, Gio. Gio is one of our CCA board members, by the way. Okay, we have a third group. Does someone want to volunteer to report back for your group? Colette. I don't know if you can unmute yourself or if Dan has to unmute you.
Now I can. Okay, all right,
Got
thank
it.
you. So I just spoke about our Be Smart program a little more in securing your guns at home. And then I heard from Meg and Steve about their program with the community safety. And since I spoke about Mom Spend Action, maybe you two want to just, Steve, maybe you want to tell the group what you said?
Oh, I can't.
Okay.
Oh, am I unmuted?
Yes.
Can everyone hear me? All right, good. I was trying to do it myself. I almost broke the system. Yeah, so my name is Steve Witchley. I work with Meg Juarez. Meg's my supervisor, and I'm part of a team of 3 people, myself, Mary Tompkins, and Stacey Vu, and we are community safety program coordinators, and we work throughout East Portland with communities, providing trainings, information, education, information about the new Neighbors Together program, which is the kind of redirection of Neighborhood Watch to a more community building approach. And in there, we have various numbers of partners that we connect with and can do trainings around community resiliency, pedestrian safety, and also helping, for example, today we were at an apartment complex looking at some of the things that the apartment can do with landscaping and signage and lighting to reduce the likelihood of unwanted behaviors happening and things like that. So hopefully moving forward, we'll have the opportunity to talk more. I put my email address in the chat there, so feel free to reach out, and happy to come back and talk more about our program.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve. All right. Well, we have about 6 minutes left. I'm sure folks have already had long days today, and we definitely appreciate all of our elected and government agency partners taking additional time out of your day to be here. So I'm just going to give some kind of concluding thoughts and a few pitches here. Centennial Community Association, we're a nonprofit organization. We're the city recognized neighborhood association for Centennial. We've talked a lot about organizing our own community safety committee, and I think we're open to it. We're an all volunteer board. We've got, I think 4 of us that are active, other people that want to be active. We need participation and leadership from our neighbors in order to make these events happen, to follow up on action items that are identified here. And I'll just share personally too, if I had not reached out to it was crime prevention coordinator at the time when I had issues happening in the condo complex where I lived, I wouldn't be here today on this board. I wouldn't be speaking up in the way that I have, and I would have given up. So I would really encourage folks to reach out to the East Portland Community Office. Mary Tompkins has been very active in supporting our efforts, showing up to meetings. It's great to meet you, Steve, and see folks from Commissioner Stegman's office, Commissioner Joanne Hardesty here, Robert King. To organize something like this, it took continuous efforts over several years. And we need people's voices to be heard. I want to recognize that there are folks who have a strong interest in getting support from law enforcement, being allies to law enforcement. That's key too. I wouldn't have been able to kind of make an impact on the safety issues that were, making me and my family feel like maybe we can't even live on our block anymore if I hadn't navigated those resources. So just as far as an organization in this community, we need more leadership. Rosewood Initiative is a great organization and a really good partner in this community. I don't know if Sabrina, the new executive director, made it here, but they're an awesome partner too. So we know there's a lot of concerns. We've been having these meetings monthly. Joanne Hardesty and Lori Stegman came and talked about what's happening with COVID-19 and the pandemic, some of the economic relief efforts. So this monthly group, I mean, we meet as a board in between months, but bi-monthly when we have these meetings, this is a great space for us to talk, to discuss action items, and to really hold each other accountable as a community to next steps. And so I just want to thank our board members, to Leslie Lum with the City of Portland Planning Department, to Lavanita, and making that connection, bringing folks to the table. Diane, there's so many names here, and we just want to continue to see your presence, hear from you. You know, we've got a Facebook page, we've got an email, we've got a web page on the EPCO subsite, and we even have a Facebook group. If you look up Centennial Neighborhood Portland, Oregon, that's a space for folks to join, to post about what's going on, and also to the Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America Oregon chapter folks. We're here together. This has been a process. Things have changed. Things are evolving, and you know, I see that there's potential for positivity in the future. Dan, did you want to add anything else before we go?
Yes, I want to say thank you so much, Scott, for moderating and leading. And for those of you who don't know, Scott did most of putting this meeting together and getting everyone here tonight. And so our hats are off to you, Scott. Thank you so much for that. Tonight was a long meeting with a lot of information. So like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be recorded and posted on YouTube, hopefully tonight, if not by tomorrow morning. And in the meantime, feel free to reach out with questions that you have for us. You can find our contact information on our city website, and you can also follow us on Facebook. So with that, I want to thank everyone for coming, and be safe and be well. Good night.
Thanks, everyone.